6:16 right now, and joining me is Julia Trigg. She owns a ranch in East Texas where the Keystone XL pipeline would like to run across. Also, real estate attorney Michael Fleming joining us. Julia, does this look a lot like the Trans-Texas Corridor situation to you?
Well, apparently it does, Matt. It's not something that I had any involvement in, but as I tell my story and people step up who are involved in that, they say it smells just like it.
Are you a greenie weenie? Julia, you're not a tree hugger or anything, are you?
No, people say, are you an environmentalist? And I am not. I am just, someone who's protecting our land. You can't check that box with me as being an environmentalist.
No, and I think that most conservatives certainly understand where you're coming from. Michael, as an attorney, does she have, the whole issue is whether or not the Trans-Canada Company is a common carrier, and this is where the argument's going to go if it gets to court, correct?
That's right. I mean, the Constitution of the United States and of Texas has always been very protective of private property rights, and it has only allowed the taking of private property, for limited circumstances, that is where it's going to benefit the public. And so in this type of a case, these companies need to now show and prove, when challenged, that they are offering their pipeline as a common carrier, so it will benefit the public.
And Julia, your story is fantastic. You're on about a 600-acre ranch. It's just you and your grandfather, and he purchased this?
Oh, well, the story's gotten a little twisted. My grandfather, unfortunately, is no longer here, but it is a farm. Actually, it's a farm and a ranch that my grandfather bought in 1948. But our family owns it. My dad and my sister and my brother and I now own it. And I'm just the farm manager. But it's something that's important enough to us that we formed a formal partnership to ensure that, we don't lose this thing, through divorces or whatever, those kinds of things maybe. But it's important enough to us that we've protected it through a partnership, and we certainly don't want a foreign company coming and taking it.
I understand. And is there anywhere else they could put this pipeline? Have they offered you any money for this? I would assume some money.
They'd offered money, but $10,000 over the life of a farm, it's just unbelievably low. And it's a very interesting corner here, and I have known for a long time that this is a critical corner. We've got the Red River, we've got two other pipelines, we've got wetlands, and we've got cultural artifacts here at this corner. We asked them to put it somewhere else, and they said no. The other pipelines in the past years, when we've asked them, they've said they find another way. So other pipelines did, but TransCanada says they can't or they won't.
All right, very good. Hang on. When we come back, Michael, I want to talk to you about what tact you're going to take legally with this. And also, it's interesting, Julia mentioned those artifacts, and I want to ask you a little more about that as well and what that means to the Keystone XL pipeline. We'll get answers to those questions when we come back in a second. KTRH News Time is 6:22. We're joined by Julia Trigg. She's got a 600-acre farm in East Texas, does not want the Keystone XL pipeline running across 30 acres of it. Real estate attorney Michael Fleming as well. Michael, let me ask you this. Did they take into consideration the artifacts from is it the Caddo tribe that Julia might have on her property?
Well, I'm not Ms. Trigg's attorney, but one point on that is that obviously in this case there have been issues raised regarding artifacts and environmental concerns, and those are all very, very valid concerns. But the underlying consideration is that this is her private property, and that overrides everything else unless that this company can show that it's a common carrier and the land will be used for public purpose.
And Julia, we thought the president nixed the whole Keystone XL pipeline. We want the jobs. We certainly want the oil, but I understand your position too. Why are we even having this argument? So they're going to build it anyway, I guess.
Well, Matt, that's our question. They were denied the permit, so why are they moving forward? Unfortunately, our leaders turned a blind eye when they were assuming they'd get the permit and allow this eminent domain to move forward. We feel like we've kind of been abandoned by our leaders in this state. They've kind of turned a blind eye to the landowners. Why should it be the responsibility of the landowner to take these high-dollar foreign corporations to court to make them prove who they say they are?
Yeah, I mean, we saw what happened with the Trans-Texas Corridor. You and I had talked about that a little bit earlier. Listen, I certainly understand how you feel, but you also understand that we would like to see this pipeline come through because of the jobs that it would bring and also the oil.
Yeah, I understand that, and there's a lot of hype out there put out by TransCanada on the jobs. I am not against jobs. Certainly, I'm I'm a poor farmer up here. But, when TransCanada talks about all these jobs, if people will read the fine print, there's actually, the number is really 5,000 to 6,000 jobs. If you read TransCanada's paperwork, they admit that only 10 to 15% of those jobs will be local hires. So, Matt, that means 500 to 700 jobs, local hires, along the entire length of the pipeline. That's 100 local hires in Texas. They also, when they talk about these 20 or 30 or 50,000 ancillary jobs will be created, do you know the report they're using? It's by a Texan named Perryman, and some of those jobs that he factors in there are manicurists and bread bakers and choreographers and dancers, and we're not talking about the ballet.
All right, Julia, thank you. Michael, thank you as well for your time here today. We'll certainly keep our eye on this. What a spirited gal from East Texas. You would expect nothing less. Whether that Keystone XL pipeline goes across her property or not, we'll certainly let you know about that. They are actually asking for more permits. They are going to refile, and they're going to try and get this thing built one way or the other, and we got our eye on it.